With the recent reveal of Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, we've just got to talk about it. There's just so much information though that I don't know if I can condense it all down into one video, because literally we have so much info about like how everything works. It's kind of insane. The only thing we don't know about yet is the extreme gear, and I'm really holding out hope that there is a bit of Rider's DNA in there, but we'll have to wait and see. I can't really fully talk about that yet until we get more info, but I wanted to talk about a brand new mechanic introduced in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, which, if done right, I think could genuinely add a lot of depth to the Sonic Racing games moving forward. So let's talk about the Gadget system. Prior to races, players can equip different gadgets, and each of the gadgets will have their own set of perks. For example, there's a gadget called Speedy Air Trick, which allows you to perform air tricks a lot faster once equipped. The main purpose for the addition of the Gadget system is to allow you to create builds for different playstyles, basically specializing in certain roles. Think of it kind of like the skill customization from Sonic Generations. So just like how in that game you had different skill classes with your own chosen set of skills, you can have different gadget sets with your own chosen set of them. In fact, it's a lot closer to how the system worked in Sonic Generations than you might think, because how it worked in that game was, in Sonic Generations, whenever you were customizing your skills, you had a couple of different classes. I think it was around 5, and basically when you were customizing one of those classes, you had a maximum of about 100 points to spend on the available skills which you wanted to use. For example, let's say you're playing through Sonic Generations and maybe some of the animations are a little bit too sluggish and you just want the game to feel so much more fluid. Well, you could equip two different skills, such as Trick Mastery and Serial Homing. So Trick Mastery is going to cost you 60 skill points, meaning you're going to have 40 skill points left over, and Trick Mastery essentially allows you to perform tricks faster. And with those 40 remaining points, you can equip Serial Homing, which allows you to perform sequential homing attacks, and coincidentally, it costs exactly 40 points. So you're going to have 0 skill points remaining, and you've just created a class that allows you to reduce some of the animation times. And remember, that's just one example of a class that you can create. Let's say you wanted to make a class that was more specifically tailored to gathering as many rings as possible. Then you'd want to go with some of the other smaller skill point costing skills for extra ring bonuses. Let's say you wanted to be a very powerful golden entity. Well, then you can equip the Supersonic skill, which is obviously going to be the best skill in the game, and because of that, it's going to cost exactly 100 skill points. So you can only equip one skill, but the trade-off is it's really good. And like I said, the gadgets work very similarly, because each gadget can take up to either 1, 2, or 3 gadget slots depending on just how powerful they are. And based on what I've seen from all the pre-release material and footage, I believe we're going to get a maximum of 6 slots per class. And I think that that's a really good thing, and I'll talk about this a little bit more later on in the video, but I think you want to make sure that with a Sonic racing game specifically, it's not too difficult to get in. You know, it's very casual friendly and easy to sort of ease your way into the game, but as you progress, you find a lot more depth to the game that, you know, is hopefully accompanied by properly explained mechanics that will also help raise the skill gap. In Sonic Generations, for example, you had skills that could cost between 10, 20, 40, 30, 50, 80 skill points. You know, it kind of was all over the place, but having 1, 2, 3 gadget slots, players get the idea, and it's very simple, and you've only got 6 in total, so you got to make them count, and it adds a lot of depth and replayability, but is also easily understood at a glance. In this screenshot, for example, 2 slots are taken up by the 1 Speedy Air Tricks gadget, you've got an empty slot, and you've got 3 other locked slots. So it indicates that 2 out of the 6 gadget slots have been used so far. As of yet, I'm not quite sure why all of the recommended gadget combinations for the closed network test manual say Legend on top of them. My assumption is that I guess whenever you use all the gadget slots, it's considered a legendary class. That's my guess. I don't know if that's true. We'll have to wait and see. You've got 3 different types of gadgets. Number 1, item gadgets that enhance your ability to use items. Number 2, driving gadgets, which enhance your ability to drive. And number 3, ring gadgets, which increase your rings. And again, for simplicity, I'm glad that they categorize these items into 3 simple and easy to understand categories that players will just look at a glance and be like, okay, I want more rings, let me equip the ring gadgets. I want to drive better, let me equip the drive gadgets. Before I break down the gadget list that we have so far, at least the ones that I know are coming to the closed network test, I'm not sure if this is a full definitive list for the launch, but we also need to talk about how you earn gadgets. So That part, I'm still kind of not sure about exactly. I just know that as you rank up, you're going to get more gadgets, and as you progress through the game, more slots are going to be unlocked and stronger gadgets will also be available, but you also have what appears to be some tickets as a form of currency in the top right hand corner in the gadget selection page. So my guess is when you earn those at the end of races, which we have seen in the pre-release footage, you're going to be able to go into this page and buy some of the gadgets, and the rest may just be available through going up the ranking system or potentially through other means. Alright, let's talk about the list of gadgets that we have so far, their types, their descriptions, everything about them, the gadget slots required. Let's go. Gadget 1, Item Stock Swap. It's an item type gadget. It costs 3 gadget slots, and it allows you to use the gadget button to swap items in stock. After 5 seconds, they can be swapped again. So yeah, in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, it seems like you have 2 item slots, and I guess you can't use the one in your secondary slot unless you swap it out, which would be my guess as to why this exists. So 3 gadget slots make sense. If your secondary item is so much better than your first, maybe you want to use that right away. Gadget slot 2, Item Stock Plus, once again a gadget item, and it increases your item stock to 3. So yeah, like I said, you got 2 slots, but with this gadget, you can get a 3rd slot to pick up a 3rd item, which is pretty OP. Not sure how many gadget slots it's going to cost just about yet. Gadget number 3, add Warp Ring. Once again, an item type gadget. It costs 2 gadget slots, and it allows you to start the race with a Warp Ring. And Warp Rings will also now appear in item boxes. By the way, the Warp Ring allows you to warp to the machine ahead of you and crush it, so that's pretty cool. Gadget number 4 is Attack Item Chance Up. Once again, it's an item type gadget. It costs 1 gadget slot, and it allows attack items to appear much more often. And in case you didn't know, there are 4 different types of items in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds: attack items, defense items, boost items, and hazard items. So as you would expect, gadgets number 5, 6, and 7 also increase their specific item types' chances at appearing on the racetrack. Still not sure how many gadget slots Defense Item Chance Up and Hazard Item Chance Up are going to take up, but I do know that Boost Item Chance Up is going to take 3 gadget slots, which makes sense, it's a speed-based item, so what's the most important thing in races? Speed. The 8th and final item type gadget is Giant Rocket Punch. It costs 1 gadget slot, and it makes Rocket Punch much bigger. Makes sense, I'm probably not going to really equip that one. Moving on to the driving type gadgets, the first one is Ultimate Drift Charge, and it's going to cost 2 gadget slots. It adds a 4th level to Drift Charge, and you can charge all 4 levels to unleash an unbeatable boost. Okay, so this one sounds really sick. If it works how I'm thinking it's going to work, where every time you drift, the longer you drift, the colors on your boost changes. I think what it's saying is you're now going to have a 4th one of those levels, and basically you're going to need to drift so much longer, but it'll be way more worth it because you're going to go so much faster. Next up, we've got Speedy Air Trick. It's the 2nd driving gadget. It's going to cost 2 slots, and as the name implies, allows you to perform air tricks faster. So it's Trick Mastery from Sonic Generations, but now in cars, so it looks really strange when you do it, but probably going to equip this. It seems like it's really going to help. Number 3, Technical Drift. It costs 3 gadget slots, and it allows Drift Charge to fill faster in landform, but the chances of sliding out also increases, and that's really interesting. So I guess you can slide out in this game. Let me know in the comments below. Could you slide out in the previous Sonic racing games? I honestly don't think so, but I could be wrong. I love gadgets like this. The more risk versus reward gadgets, the better. Number 4, Perfect Drift Boost. Not sure how many gadget slots it's going to cost just yet, but it allows you to release as soon as the gauge is filled to boost even faster. I'm guessing it's probably going to work like the perfect homing attack in Sonic Colors, where you had to literally make sure your homing reticle lined up exactly with when you needed to hit the homing attack button so that you can get like an extra boost. It probably works like this, but like with the drift. So you have to let go of the drift right as soon as the drift gauge is fully charged up, and you'll go even faster. I think that is also really cool. I like that. Oh, and did I say Colors? I meant Sonic Colors Ultimate. It was a misinput, chat. It was a misinput. Number 5, Level 1 Quick Charge. It'll cost 1 gadget slot, and it lets you fill your Drift Charge Level 1 even faster, which not really all that impressive. I'm probably not going to equip this one. Number 6, not really sure exactly how it works. It's going to cost 3 gadget slots. It says that while drifting in landform, completely fill the drift charge with a switch drift. I think what it's saying is when you switch your drift from right to left, or vice versa, it's going to completely fill the drift charge, which, if that's the case, that sounds OP. So yeah, definitely equipping this one. Number 7, this one sounds really interesting. So it's going to cost 2 gadget slots, and when you collide with a machine, you'll get a boost. That sounds really familiar. A lot like how it worked in Sonic Riders, when you boosted into an enemy, You got more air in your air gauge, which allowed you to boost more, which is very interesting. I wonder if this is here with the extreme gear in mind. And for the final driving gadget, number 8, we've got Slipstream Enhancement. It's going to cost 1 gadget slot, and it extends the slipstream range, which I think this one might be useful in certain scenarios. I'll think about equipping this one, maybe. I'll see. Moving on to the ring gadgets, first up we've got Ring Boost Effect Up. So I'm not sure how many gadget slots it'll take up just yet, but it increases the boost effect when getting a ring. This one seems pretty useful, but we'll have to see. Number 2, Low Rings Top Speed Up. So I'm not sure once again how many gadget slots this will cost, but it'll increase the machine's top speed when holding fewer rings, which sounds like it's going to be really helpful at the start of the matches when you don't have really any rings. But after that, I don't know. I mean, come on guys, I'm not taking damage in the racing games. I'm Stickman Guides. I'll be fine. Number 3, double rings. It's going to cost 3 gadget slots and it'll double the rings you obtained. Once again, I can't really talk about how useful this is going to be just yet because I don't know how scattered the rings are going to be or how plentiful they will be just yet. We'll have to wait and see. This could either be really good or really bad depending on the track ring placement. Number 4, Ring Limit Up. It's going to allow you to hold up to 200 rings and it'll cost 2 gadget slots. That seems pretty reasonable. Once again, I don't know how good that's going to be. We'll see. Number 5, Ring Steal. It costs 2 gadget slots. It lets you get 10 rings from colliding with other machines. I guess that could be helpful. I don't know. Probably not. We'll see. Number 6, Ring Guard. Not sure how many gadget slots it'll take up, but it halves the number of rings lost when taking damage, which could be pretty good. But again, I'm not going to get hit because I'm just that good. Number 7, Dash Panel Bonus. It's going to cost 2 gadget slots, and it gives you 5 rings for using a dash panel and 10 rings for using blue dash panels. Could be helpful. Again, depends on ring placement in the tracks. Number 8, Runoff Bonus. It's going to cost 1 gadget slot, and it gets you rings when using boost items to cross runoff areas. This one seems extremely situational, and yeah, I'm never using it. Number 9, Ring Range Up. It's going to cost 1 gadget slot, and it multiplies the range to pick up rings by 2.5. Again, situational, we'll see. And finally, number 10, we got Item Attack Ring Bonus. Get 10 rings when using items to attack other machines. It's going to cost 1 gadget slot, and it's okay. And that's it for all the gadgets that we know about so far. So, to reiterate, my opinion on the gadget system is as follows. First of all, we got to remember that we're looking at this all on paper. I've seen a lot of games do systems like this, especially roguelikes, where they'll release all the info beforehand, they'll tell you this is how it's going to work, but in execution, it's going to be completely different. So you got to keep that in mind. It might play completely differently to how it all sounds, but on paper, I think this is really good. It's simple and easy to understand, so I don't think it's going to be too much of a hassle to expect casual players to learn to pick what gadgets best suit their needs and their preferred playstyles. But I also do think it has a solid amount of depth to add a skill gap between casual and skilled players, but to what extent is that gap going to be? Is it going to be high or is it going to be low? I hope it's high because personally speaking, that's the main appeal of games like Sonic Riders to me is, holy crap, this game is so difficult to master, but it's just so much fun now that I actually know what I'm doing. And I just don't get that same level of enjoyment when I play games like Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, like the original one. It just doesn't have that much depth to it. You just kind of drive, drift, maybe do a couple of tricks here and there. Cool ultimates, but that's about it. Let me know if you guys are interested in seeing my thoughts on Sonic Riders and, a retrospective. I think I heard this from G-Dub-A, but I like when Sonic games are easy to pick up and difficult to master. But yeah, I think I heard the guy from the Gamer Braves footage say this. I really like the fact that you can apparently see other players' gadgets that they selected before you enter the match, which I think that's really cool because you're going to be like, okay, this guy's got this gadget, so you know what? I'm going to counter it with this gadget. So that's definitely going to encourage counter gadget play, which is really good. For the most part, like I said, I think it's a really good system, but I still do potentially have my doubts. Mostly being with the fact that some of them seem really situational, and that's always a problem with these types of systems, I think people are always going to optimize the game to death, especially when speedrunning and like racing and things like that. Competitive games in general always encourage like optimization, and eventually I feel like people are probably going to find a meta that works, and they're just gonna stick to it. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be so frustrating because you're gonna be like, oh my god, this guy's using this gadget and that gadget, and it's like, dude, switch up the gadget selection. You know what I mean? I think that might be a potential issue, but we'll have to see when the game launches. And the best way to counter that is to just make every gadget really powerful so that the selection of gadgets is really difficult. Like you want to feel like you're really missing out if you didn't pick a certain gadget over another gadget. But yeah, guys, once again, let me know your thoughts on the gadget system in the comments below. Does this sound appealing to you? Do you think it's a little bit too complicated? Let me know. Let's get a discussion going. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you found it informative in any way. Definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos. I'm definitely going to have some Sonic Racing CrossWorlds guides up on the channel, so let me know. And I'll try to focus more on discussion videos like this in the future as well. Alright boys, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching this video. Shout out to Sonic Heroes 54, Azora, Shadow Tart, Rewind Plays, Harry Short, James, Tails the Fox, MLM0130 the Tunes Maker, Nostalgia Addict, and Goku Black for becoming channel members. If you'd like to become a channel member, be sure to hit that join button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.